I know a lot of my Stonewall Jackson Hospital families here. I did start Stonewall in 1998. I was 20 years old. And through my education, I'm now currently an RN at the VA in Clarksburg. My career goes back to my days at Rob Snuffer's office. The importance that I got to educate the community about was preventative medication, or preventative health care. Just reminding women to get their mammograms, to always have their follow-up recommendations, and it was just very important for me to provide education to my own community. So as I see our oncology nurses back here, I always remember going through nursing and saying there's two nursing professions I never want to be. One is a hospice nurse, and number two is oncology nurse. My hats go off to you ladies. It's after I found myself with my diagnosis and realizing that the oncology world was unfamiliar to me. I knew nothing. Being a nurse and having a diagnosis of breast cancer, I thought, how am I going to navigate this? I'm a family medicine nurse. I know family medicine and that's it. So I had a lot to learn. And I'm going to start back from the day that I found out I had triple negative breast cancer. I was walking down the street with my husband and my two friends, and my phone dings. I'm like, what's this? I'm not supposed to get my biopsy report from my iPhone. And there it was. So I open my phone and I get the report that it's invasive ductal carcinoma. And at this point, I'm like, I have no clue what this means. So of course, the first person I think of, who do you call? Dr. Snuffer. So I call Dr. Snuffer, and within 2 hours, he shows up at my house on a Saturday night. He's already talked to an oncologist, and he says, okay, Jamie, this is serious. He's like, we have to get you treatment. This is an aggressive breast cancer. And I'm like, I don't even know what triple negative means at this point. So within 3-week time period, I had seen an oncologist, had a PET scan, had an echocardiogram, had already started chemotherapy. So in 3 weeks, all this is coming at me. And at this point, I'm like, wait, we gotta hit the brakes because I have no clue what's going on here. The first thing I did was I told myself, you're not allowed to Google for 2 weeks. So after that 2-week mark, everything was just happening so fast. So I was like, bring on Google. And I basically was reading every clinical trial I can get my hands on. Okay, what is best for me? Is this the right treatment? Is this what I need? My oncologist is saying this is what I need, and standard of care is saying this is what you need. But I wanted individualized health care. So in nursing school, I thought back, wait, I had maybe 1 hour of nutrition. What am I supposed to eat during chemotherapy? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to exercise? Am I supposed to go to bed? It was just so confusing. So I turned to nutrition. Like, I knew what was going to keep me healthy and protect my body during chemotherapy. So it was, okay, we got to figure out what type of foods do I need to eat? How much do I need to exercise? So every day I was on my treadmill. I bought a rebounder. I was jumping up and down on a trampoline just to move the lymphatic system. And I remember my maybe 4th or 5th round of chemo, my husband's like, we gotta go, Jamie. And I was like, no, I have to jump for 10 more minutes before chemotherapy. It was just something that my mind and body needed. It was something that I was never told going to my oncologist's office. The biggest disappointment I had was when I was told, Jamie, you need to keep on weight. It's okay if you want to drink three milkshakes a day and eat whatever. You just have to keep your weight up. And I'm like, no, my body does not need that. My body needs healthy nutrition. And I really believe that the determination I had is what kept me healthy during all my treatments. So I just highly advise, if you know anybody that is going through anything, no matter what healthcare crisis their life is going through right now, nutrition is so important. Nutrition and moving, just moving your body. And I just wanted, one time when I went to see my oncologist and my healthcare team, I wanted someone to reach out to me and say, you're amazing. Whatever you're doing, do it. You're doing great. And not one person in my healthcare team told me I was amazing until I found myself at Cleveland Clinic. I did all the research when it came time to do my radiation therapy, and I reached out to every major hospital because what I was told, I did not want to accept what standard of care had to offer me. So I reached out to Cleveland Clinic and I found the most brilliant radiation therapist or oncologist, and he said, this is what we can do for you. And I said, sign me up. So God took me 250 miles to Cleveland. And when I got to Cleveland, I told them my whole story of how, I incorporated nutrition, I incorporated movement, I kept the most positive mindset, and most importantly, I had God. I had my faith. And when I got to Cleveland, I sat down and the first doctor I sat with said, you are amazing. And I was like, oh, thank you. That's all I wanted to hear. I knew I was doing things right, and I knew that I wanted, my own individualized health care. So I finished everything up in Cleveland, and while I was there for 3 weeks, I found the most amazing individuals that inspired me. And the whole time I'm in Cleveland, I'm, walking 3 to 5 miles a day, getting radiation, just being, active me. And so many people come up to me and told me how much I inspired them. So I believe God put me there for a reason, and I'm happy that I had that healthcare system. And I just want to say that don't give up. Just stay positive. And the day that I gave everything to God and said, God, take my fear, and, I just gave it to God, and it relieved everything. I've not been fearful. I continue. It's funny because a lot of people call their cancer their story or their journey. I call mine my quest, because on this quest, I've been searching for answers. I was always the, healthy person, running 5Ks, always eating healthy. Even back in 2020, I got genetic testing because my mother had breast cancer. A lot of you probably knew my sweet mother, Luella Clem. So in 2020, I thought, you know what, I'm going to get a head start of this. I'm going to figure out if I have any genetics for breast cancer or for any cancer, as a matter of fact. So I had a genetic panel of 90 genetic testing, and all of them were negative for any type of cancer. So, and I've been very, staying on top of mammograms. I think I got my first mammogram starting at the age of 35 just because of my mother's history. And, nothing's ever came back until actually 315 days ago is when I was first diagnosed with my triple negative breast cancer. So if I can just be an example to others, it doesn't, breast cancer can be for, basically any reason it could pop up. I was healthy. I was, no underlying illnesses. I'm always the one you probably see running around town, like the day I saw Julia not too long ago. I was, running the streets and just staying active. And anytime a 5K pops up in West End, I'm the first one to sign up. We have to just get those mammograms, get your follow-up ultrasounds, and if you do have a family history, still, you have to make those changes, just in lifestyle, your mindset, just reflect on everything positive you have in your life. So I do want to finish up today. I want to hope that my experience has educated you in case you are a loved one or cursed with this awful disease. And remember, you are in charge of your health care. You have to make that change, and it's you that has to speak up and just make sure you have that advocate there for you. You have to care most about your body and your health and wellness. And the most important thing I can tell you is if you do have any type of diagnosis, find your tribe. Find the people that love you, care for you, the family, the friends. Without my wonderful husband, John Green here, I don't know if I would have made it to those chemo treatments. He was the one that was like, come on, Jamie, get out the door. We got to do this. And he always likes percentages. So he'd be like, round, I don't know, I had 14 rounds of chemo, round 7, he was like, you're 50% there. Like, he's all about his numbers. him and my oncologist are all about numbers. But then there's me going, no, I don't want to do that. I want to just feel good today, so we're not doing that today. And I remember my oncologist said one point, he goes, some days before I come see you in this room, I should read the book of Art of Negotiation. Because it was, I guess it is true, nurses are the worst patients. So it's so important to find that tribe, find the people that's going to be there with you. My sweet friend Alyssa Lambert, she got to go to chemo with me one day and find out what a task it is to deal with me. I feel like my oncology nurses, when they'd walk in, they'd be like, oh, it's her. So it was difficult. But you know what? I made it through it, and it's so hard for me to say I'm a survivor. I feel like I'm a warrior. I feel like I put on my armor and I went in there and I was like, cancer, you will not define me today. So I just hope I enlighten you today with a little bit of my story. And if you know anybody that is recently diagnosed that needs to reach out, I'd be happy to talk to anyone. Just have that advocate. A special friend that has been with me during my diagnosis, she sends me the most uplifting morning messages. So when I wake up in the morning, it's like, there you go, it's right in your face. You're going to get this positive, encouraging message. Her name's Debbie Bailey, and I love her dearly. I want to share her daily inspirational quote she sent me this morning. God has perfect timing, never early, never late. It takes a little patience and faith, but it's always worth the wait. So I just want to let you know it was a pleasure being here with you today and sharing with you what's been going on for the past 315 days of my life. And by the way, chemo brain is a real thing.